solving and graphing inequalities, something that will also be covered on this quiz 4. For the first example, I'm assuming that you guys can graph the easier inequalities. This is called a compound inequality, which says here that 4 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 12. Now what I do with these ones is I graph instead of normally if it was just like x is less than or equal to 12, I would put 12 in the middle and then 2 to the left, 2 to the right, making sure that my numbers were correct on the number line. But for these compound inequalities, I actually start with the two ends. And here I'm going to put a 4 down here and a 12 down here. Now, what I need to do now is look at the signs. Those are going to tell me what it needs to be. On this one down here, since it's just a less than sign, 4 is less than x, I put an open circle on 4. Sorry, it's not a very good circle. And then looking down here, x is less than or equal to 12. I put the same circle, but because it's less than or equal to, that means it's going to be a closed dot. So I fill in my dot here. And now it's a matter of filling in some values here on my number line in between. And since it's a pretty good distance, I want 5 points, so I'm going to use 6. It's not even going to be very 8. It's not working out the way I wanted it to, but 6, 8, 10, and I'll squeeze an extra one in here, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so what I need to do now is I need to shade the proper direction, which would be in between these numbers here. X can be any of these values in between 4 and 12. And so you just fill this in, you shade it in a little bit, and that's how you solve the compound inequalities. The next one is a little bit difficult. First of all, it's got the number on the left hand side of the inequality. There I would be tempted to use what's called the reflexive property, which we've talked about, and that simply states that I can write the negative 3x plus 3 on the other side. But remember, the inequality sign is still going to be going towards 18, so that needs to switch if you're going to use the reflexive property here. Now I solve it just like an equation. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And when I do that, I get negative 3x is less than 15. One last step I need to do, which is divide by negative 3. When I divide by a negative with inequalities, that sign needs to flip. So here I get x now is now greater than, I'm going to put it in red just to stress how important that is, that sign flips. X is greater than 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. Okay, now these are the types of problems I was talking about earlier where it's a simple inequality. I'm going to put negative 5 right here in the middle of my number line. Now remember the way that the number line goes. To the right is going to be a negative 4, and there's also going to be a negative 3. And to the left is going to be a negative 6 and a negative 7. Alright, I go straight back to that negative 5, which is in the middle. I look at my sign, it's just a greater than sign, so it's going to be an open dot on negative 5, and then I shade going to the right. Sorry, it's probably going to go over my beautiful work there, but shade going to the right. You guys know what to do, fill in your number line and shade it in that direction. So that's how you solve and graph inequalities. Hopefully this helped. Good luck.